Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. And I'm going to stop for a second and waiting for someone to pick up. And so in the meantime, I'm going to do another episode of our Vigor Warriors 2 broadcast. Once again, this channel is focusing on the creating a better version of yourself, no matter what your age is. I like to focus, obviously, because of my age, being 60 years old, trying to focus on health and wealth and spiritual types of things for people over the age of 50. But certainly, a lot of the young people in the audience, male and female, can always help, can always use the information. I'm hoping that you guys can use it in ways to help you guys grow and become more stronger and become a better version of yourself as you go along. So this version of the episode we're going to talk about is going to be to stop and cut out the BS when it happens. So this was a question that was asked to me about in conversations with males and females. And what you have to do, and before we do this, of course, subscribe, like, and comment. But before we look at this, the whole question becomes, what are you trying to accomplish in a relationship? Okay? The key is you want to build a relationship with somebody, especially if somebody that you care about, and you want to have something kind of special with that person. You're not going to go from one person or another. And like I said, I've never recommended that. I think that that's something that is just a, it's a defeatist type of attitude, because you're wasting energy, both emotional and physical, sometimes energy with people. And for what goal? What is the goal in the long run? So what you want to do is think about a conversation you're having. You are too valuable, my friends, to waste time in conversations and with people who are not going to help you achieve the goals you want to. And so part of the problem is that people will, in their conversations, they will try to test you. They will try to monopolize your time. They will try to make it look like they're the center of attention. They'll try to make it look like they're the person who is the focal point, because they may be narcissistic. They may be somebody who just thinks about themselves all the time. But you may have fallen for that before. And simp behavior, beta male behavior, that's what happens. Those people are so wrapped up into, another person that they'll do anything for the person. Now, in my case, if you're addicted to a person or you're addicted to something, that's really more a reaction, a response to suffering, something that's a problem. For you to be able to not detach to somebody and to say, okay, I'm going to just kind of serve you, you're the person on the pedestal, that is going to destroy you faster than anything. It's not going to destroy you because the other person won't eventually like that and move away from you, but it's going to put you in a need state all the time, lacking something. And if you don't have that self-confidence within yourself that comes from control, that leads to confidence, right, in our C model, you're not going to go ahead and have that success in any kind of relationship you have. And so what ends up happening is people move away from that, and that's how they get involved into a fantasy world, because they can't have relationships with people, not realizing that they're causing a lot of the problems themselves because of the way they communicate and they talk to people and the lack of confidence they have. Those things show with people as you're talking with them. So let me show you one way as an example of this. So I don't care if you're sitting there looking at a person that's coming towards you. I don't care if they're the most beautiful person in the world. You have to have a conversation with that person. You will have to do something more than just look at that person, right? I mean, you've got to do more than just look at a person. So once you start having a conversation with the person, then what are you going to talk about, right? And a lot of times if you start talking and let the other person talk, they're going to tell you about themselves. But the one thing that you cannot put up with, my friends, and this I'm talking more to the males than anything else, You can't put up with the BS. Now, what do I mean by the BS? Well, once you get into a relationship with somebody, you cannot put up with people who are not going to be direct to you. You have to look at yourself and say, I am the focal point. You have to have that confidence level. Don't give that up. And 90% of the guys are giving this up all the time right now. Don't give it up. Because now you're going to make that person want to hang with you. If they don't want to hang with you, out they go. Out they go. You have to get rid of them and someone else will come along. But don't allow a person to monopolize your time, take your energy away. We got a plane flying overhead. And do those type of things to make it rough for you. Because now you're becoming the second person in the relationship, and you should never be the second person in the relationship. You should be the first person. And in fact, if you're a a lot of women really want and respect that. They don't want to have to lead. Most of them do not want to lead. And for those who want to lead, they're trying to find an even stronger male. Because the bottom line is that they feel security if they have a male around them that's going to protect them, and they need to see that. But if you're deferring to them all the time, if you're putting up with all the games and BS that's going on, you're not going to succeed in that relationship. And in fact, that person's going to end up leaving you, disrespecting you, and not really appreciating it. And so the bottom line is that as soon as you hear some of this BS, now what I mean by BS again, when you're talking about people who, they ghost you, or they're saying they're going to come to a lunch, or coming to this or doing this, and they don't do it, they don't show you the type of respect you need to have, don't continue reinforcing that. That's the worst thing you can do. Don't put up with the BS, I call it, because this person's trying to either test you, or they're trying to get you to the point where you're now becoming subservient and doing the things they want. You got to put it to a stop right away. If someone asks you to do something, you have to say to yourself, okay, do I want to do this? And did they ask me in a way where they're asking me, or are they telling me? You should never be in a situation where people are telling you what to do. And this is why sometimes in jobs you have to really consider whether or not this is something you want as a job. Because if people are telling you what to do and they have a bad attitude towards it, and they look at you as being worthless, you need to get out of there. You need to find something else. You need to find some other relationship as well to do this with. Because if people are treating you badly, don't put up with it. Do not put up with disrespect, my friends. And I know I've been there. Do not put up with disrespect. And disrespect comes in a lot of different ways. It comes from actions, right? For instance, if you're going to a luncheon at 12, how long do you wait for that person to come? You shouldn't wait very long. 5 minutes and you should be out of there. If the person doesn't come, it's their loss. But if you're afraid of rejection, people don't do that. Some people end up staying like half an hour. They stay 45 minutes because they're more interested in seeing that person. And, you're going down a slippery slope, my friend. You go down a slippery slope because all of a sudden, if you start catering to that and reinforcing that's okay, that person's going to push you more and more, and they're going to lose respect for you at the same time. You need to put people on guard and tell them, look, my time is valuable, my energy is valuable, and if I'm going to spend time with you, you need to appreciate that. And if you don't, that person is going to take it the other way and say, okay, well, my time is more valuable. And when it comes to women rather have somebody that they can look up to, that they can actually kind of say, okay, I'm going to be with you. They're not comfortable being the center of the attention. At least 90% of them that I've ever met. And like I said, the ones who are, by force of nature, by force of jobs and things like that they have, they're really still yearning for that male who is somebody who is going to be stronger than they are. And that is the key, my friends. The key is be strong mentally. And where does that start? Once again, we go back to the journey. This all goes back to your level of control. If you have self-control, and you have a level of self-control that is able to build that confidence in yourself, you don't need to be worried about rejection. Rejection is the number one problem why, in this case, men and women put up with other people when they shouldn't be. They're afraid of not finding somebody else. They're afraid of having people walk out on them and things like that. But now, like in a negotiation, now you're putting yourself in a bad position because this person can walk all over you. They can actually go ahead and demand things, and you're going to go ahead and do those things because you're afraid of losing this person. If you're afraid of losing a person, you've already lost that person. The key is, guys, live your own life. Have your goals. Be on your purpose. Have your journey. Don't sit there and wait on someone else. Don't try to please someone else to the point of you not accomplishing your goals. You should come first with your goals. And as a male, that's even more the case, in my opinion. And then all of a sudden, if the female wants to be with you, they'll be with you. If they don't, well, you'll know that. But it's move on to somebody else. It's time to move on. And the same thing happens if the person is not willing to come to you and to be with you and to submit to you. They're not going to go ahead and do this. Now, I know I'm probably going to get some ideas, and we're going to do a separate one on submitting. But lots of women, they want to submit. They want a male they can do that with. They want somebody they can do that with. Now, they may argue and fight and scream about this, but biologically down deep, they respect the man that they can go ahead and say, look it, I'm willing to be with you. Because men and women, they make each other whole. And they need each other in different ways. And women are very much more nurturing, and they need to be able to help males. But when all of a sudden they don't respect the male they're with, or this male is a wimpy male, and all of a sudden they're not going to get that kind of idea. They're not going to get that type of thing. And so they're going to move on to somebody else. And that's why it's so hard for women to find men, because all the men they meet are trying to be more subservient or more ideas to them instead of them saying, okay, I'm willing to kind of work, be with you. And guys, that's the key to it. You'll see a big difference, especially when you're on your purpose, because now you don't care about chasing women around. You don't care about, kind of putting them on a pedestal, all these type of things, and putting yourself in a bad position, a less important position. You should be the important person in the relationship. Now, nothing wrong with women achieving and doing great things and strong women. I'm all for that. But they will not respect you if they don't feel that you're on the same level or above them, whether it's for money, whether it's just strength alone. And the one thing that women in all these years that I've seen that really want is a strong male, not a wimpy male who chases them around and focuses their whole life on them. Okay? So the key is don't put up with the BS. Do your own plan, go on your own goal, stay on your journey, don't get sidetracked, and keep moving towards the goal. And the goal is to get to become the best version of yourself in the enlightened form that you will be in. All right, till next time, warriors, battle on.